Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations Effects Tutorials, Demos, and Review. Today we'll be going over how to actually do a capture with the new Tonex One pedal and Tonex SE, special edition version of the software. So there's a few things you're gonna need. First, of course, you got to get you a Tonex One pedal, and that will allow you to get the Tonex SE software for free. I wouldn't recommend buying it separately because then you're just gonna spend more money. So once you get you a Tonex One pedal, the software is included. You can do unlimited captures, and you can do unlimited tone network, tone net. I think it's called Tone Net. You can do unlimited Tone Net downloads, which means you can go and download as many captures that other people have done as you would like. And you can do as many that you would like. And that's what we're going to do today. So, first thing you're going to need is an actual bass amp, right? Besides the pedal and the software, download all that, do all that, install it. Then you got to take your bass rig and put it in a decent sounding room, something that is maybe treated a little bit. This is my personal studio office, so it's like it's not super dead, but it's got a good amount of control to the room. Sounds good. And then you're gonna need a mixer. I'm gonna use a Zoom L12. They'll also say you'll need a reamp box, a reamplification box, and not necessarily. If you want to run from your power amp, if you want to run that power amp, the speaker out of the amp head to the reamp box, then that's different. You need a reamp box for that because it's sending power out as well because it's the speaker out for the cabinet. So if you want to run the speaker out, which will give you the complete sound of that amp head, the preamp section and the power section together make a sound, slightly different than just the preamp. Just very, very slightly, not really noticeable. All you need is the preamp out for real, for real. So, if you just want the amp head, then that's all you'll need is the mixer and your amp. You need a mixer that has 4 inputs and 4 outputs. You really only need 3 of each, but they typically will come in fours. You know what I'm saying? Even numbers. So it'll be two in, 2 outs, 4 ins, 4 outs, and etc. So from there, you need through this whole process, you want to have you want to have good quality cables that aren't messed up or making noise, introducing anything. Then from there, you want to have some good mics. They don't have to be the best mics. Good mics don't necessarily mean expensive. I'm using some CAD mics for the purposes of this, and I've done all my captures with these, and they sound amazing together. It's a CAD D10 kick mic, to handle all the lower frequencies and a lot of the booty of the sound. And then I have a CAD GXL 2200. So that's the model number on it. And both of those mics are fairly reasonably priced. Most people could get those within their budget. But the way you got to mic it up properly. So I have the kick mic about let me see. I have it about halfway between the edge of the speaker and the center of the speaker. Then I have the condenser mic about a foot away from it, about the same distance. They're both about 3 to 4 inches from the front of the cabinet. And if you want more of the room, you just back the mics up. If you want less of the room and more bottom, you move the mics forward. So if you want less bottom, you move the mics back. If you want more of the rooms, you move the mics back. If you want less of the room, move the mics forward. If you want more booty, move the mic forward. So that's just two general rules for you. If you want more definition from the exact distance you are, you need to move it towards the center of the speaker. The kick mic. If you want more of the boomy sound, you move that towards the center the edge of the speaker. So I use the condenser mic. I have that towards the edge of the speaker, but right by the tweeter as well. So the tweeter is almost fell. Y'all don't got me on camera fault. It's tweeter about right here. So it's not too far from there at all. Um, and it picks it up really well. So you want to have something close to a mic close to the tweeter. If you only got one mic, I would go. I would say, that's a good question. You could always go with the D10 or go with a kick mic or something like that. If you only got one mic, excuse me. If you only got one mic, and that way you can get the booty, and then you can mix in your dry sound or the actual sound from your actual preamp or something like that. But um, ah, so from there, what you gonna do? Okay, so how you gonna hook it up? Let's get on. Let's get into the software real quick. So you just this is the Tonex software. So you usually open it up. It'll be on the home screen, and you'll see something like this. We're gonna set this buffer a little higher because I'm doing a video and it requires more processing power on the system while I'm doing both of these things. So you'll see this window when you click on Modeler, the top left of the screen. You know, you also have Librarian over there and all that other stuff. But click Bass, Next, and you got options here. So it can model the amp and the cabinet at the same time, which is amazing. So you don't have to do them separately. I did mine separately just to see if there's a difference, you know, if I got to, you know, and plus, well, yeah, it's really just to see if there's a difference. And while this is processing, I'm going to go through some of the ones I did with this exact setup and configuration and everything. I'm actually play some stuff for you guys through the tones that I programmed into my pedal. Because when you get it as a bass player, you're going to have to change all of the presets in there. They're all for guitar. So you got to change all of them. Um, and you can just, even if you don't have an amp, you know, just a heads up, you can simply just download a lot of stuff from the tone net, you know. That'll be, it's in your top right of your screen of the Tonex software, you'll see it. But amp and cabinet, complex rig, which is a stomp box and a cabinet and head. And when you do the stomp box, you can do stomp box by itself. It doesn't do any compressors, no time or phase based effects. So no reverbs, no delays, no pitch shifters, no chorus, no phaser, tremolo, no flanger, no none of that. Only preamps. So like you can do fuzz, distortion, overdrive, like preamps, EQs, things of that nature. So you can't do, you know, any of that other stuff. So don't, you know, if you do it, if you add it to the sound, it's just gonna mess up your capture. So even on your amps, when you're doing modeling your amps, just turn the compressor off, and you'll get a better results as well. Because I did some captures when the first time I got it. I was doing captures with the compressors on, and you know, thinking that's, you know, it's part of the sound. You know, just turn it off. It'll sound fine. Compress the sound later, and then you got the stomp and amp. So you could do the amp and a head and a stomp box together. And when you do a stomp box and head together, it stores the stomp box with the amp and keeps it there. Same thing with complex rig. It'll still do two separate it'll do model the amp head and the stomp box together, keeps it together, and the speaker it will do on a separate IR. So amp and cab is what we're doing right now, and we're gonna put this on number 8. So I got the D10 on input 7 and the GXL 2200 on on 8. And so if I was gonna use my live, you don't have to use a live guitar. I prefer not to, not to use a live instrument. Prefer to use the pre-recorded stuff so I can listen to it and get a much better feel of what's going on. Without, playing is different. So I would suggest using the recordings and then making your capture, and then you can hear things a little better. But then I got this is why I said you need four of each, because I don't know any interfaces that have three inputs and outputs. All the ones I know have about either two or four. So bam, it's see they trying to put you with the reamp box. You only need that if you're gonna run from the speaker out of your head to the box. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time. But here we go. Um, output straight to the amp. I didn't use the reamp box. I went straight to the front of the amp. And I have the amp set up to my usual EQ that I would use on it. Whatever your usual EQs, you can do a capture of each of those EQs, and that'll give you exactly that sound every single time without you fidgeting, which makes so. Let me tell you, this thing is so accurate. It's crazy. All right, let's rock. Especially for this joint to be doing it at your house, bro. That's bananas for $179. Mind you, the is other stuff that just came out for $170 that ain't half as good as this. So you get your input level. Generally, you want to, like I said, I'm not using a live instrument, but you want to get that input level to about 3 to 4 lights from the right side of the input level. You see it blinking on the left side there. You want to get that meter all the way to maybe 3 or 4 from the end of the line of the dots from the right. So you go to the right side, count 1, 2, 3, 4, and you want it around there. And you want it to not be going into the red portion at all. But I'll show you in the next meter. So here's your line levels check, all that good stuff. Just send level from your audio rig, rada, strum your instrument. You don't really need to do this. Well, I mean, you're going to do this anyway, but it's going to be in a different way. Let me show you something. So, level check. Step 3, return levels. You know what I'm saying? We here, and we're going to use this. Instead of using this live input, we're going to use... you scroll down to the bottom of this list, you get foundation, slap, and bass. All three of these are good for what you got to do. I use foundation to set the levels, and then I also listen to it on slap and bass settings as well. But I use the foundation one to get my general levels because it's the loudest one, and it peaks at a certain frequency that bass is usually pokes out at. And you want to get this. This is a very important step right here as well, so you want to get that right. So let's set that to foundation, right? Okay, see, it's running to the mics. That's the mic levels, and you also have a mic blend right here, right? So you can listen to it while it's playing. And just change your levels. Now, granted, what you guys are hearing isn't directly from the software. It's coming through the mic. So you're hearing the cabinet in the room, but you'll hear the capture once we're finished. So you see it's peaking in the red part. At times, you want it around that 3 to 4 area. Pay attention to the beginning. See that? In the beginning, it get the little red. So what we do, we're not going to bring the gain. We're not going to take the gain out from the preamp. We're going to turn down the actual speaker itself. That's how I'm doing it. I already got my mics pretty balanced, as you can see there. You try to have those balanced, so when you're messing with your mic blend, it'll be accurate, blending. So So that's perfect right there. That's key. If you want to push, um, into the preamp more, for whatever reason, you want to overdrive it, get to that level with the gain, and then set this level, like, get the mics even, and then set the level of your actual master on your amp to do the rest so it's not going overboard. And then you got a nice little blend knob here, so I usually keep mine towards the brighter mic because of how I have them placed, and that gives me plenty of bottom still, but then it's still a lot of clarity within the cabinet as well. So that's good there. You can also set your listening level, monitoring level there. So now here comes the noisy part. Um, if you're doing an actual amp, you have to be able to make noise. So you might want to do this during the day if you live in a certain area or a certain type of building or whatever the case. But you can do stomp boxes and actual amp heads any time of day, and you don't even need to have speakers for that. You can just use headphones and do your modeling. That's what I was, easy to do. Plus, it would give you better ability to hear what's going on with some headphones versus just listening to it in a room. You want to be able to listen to that mic balance if you're using two mics, things like that. Or if you want to listen to what the mic placement is. So if you can isolate those mics. If you go back for a second, you can isolate, pull it all the way to the left, hear what that sounds like. Pull it all the way to the right, hear what that sounds like. Only reason I'm not doing that now is because I would have to reroute a bunch of stuff right now to do that, and it was hard enough making sure I can record and route this stuff all through the same mixer. I'm literally modeling an amp and recording this video through the same audio interface. So, you know, you gotta give me some leeway room with that one. But you'll hear what it sound like when we finish. Here, and what you're hearing now is just the mic I'm talking through in the room. So here we go. Here's what the capturing process sounds like. It is not pleasant to just listen to, but here we go. Okay. So, you have to be quiet, or you have to have an environment where you're not talking. You can't be talking, listening to videos, and doing all that other crap while you're trying to do captures, okay? And expect that the microphones, they don't want to do anything to interfere with the microphone. Like I had on a fan in the room, and I had to make sure I turned that off because I didn't want that to interfere with the microphones. I even went as far as to put some pillows on my drums and things like that to make sure that the it doesn't affect it too much. So let's go back into the software real quick. So we here now. We gonna go down here. So now you got different ones you can do. So this actually is works just fine. Default works just fine. Fast. You know, if you, I would suggest this one if you just want to test out if that is a good mic play, and say you're just doing some experimenting, and you don't want to waste too much time. Like you want to make sure that this capture is going to sound good, and you can go back and do a detailed one afterwards or something. That's what I would use that for, personally. But the more accurate one is going to, of course, this one, is the best quality one, but it's going to take like an hour. It's going to take like an hour to do this joint. This joint you can do about 10, 15 minutes. So we're going to do this, and we're going to do this one and go through some tones that I have programmed already in the Tonex One, and good results, clean and overdriven tones. Yeah, so it's just not gonna be as good of quality. So you're gonna be using this out, and people. The thing about it is, people don't know they listening to quality, but they'll know if you sound good or not. People don't. Yeah, people say that all the time. People don't know what gear you using, but they know if you sound good or not. And everything doesn't sound as good as the next thing. Like they know if it's just you and somebody else come and play up after you and their gear sound better, and they're better. Not only if their gear sound better, they're a better player, or whatever advantage it is. They look good, they smell good, better than you, whatever. you know, you gotta try to give yourself every advantage in this world as usual. So you wanna. And if you're gonna spend some time, if you're gonna do the advanced one, you're gonna definitely need some time. But let's do this. Um, Default, and that'll give us a few minutes to go over some stuff. So you hit that, then you still gotta hit start default training, and then bam, you're in there. So this really doesn't take 25 minutes to get to this point, but I had to explain a lot of stuff, guys. No, you know what I'm saying? I had to make sure you guys are getting a full picture, because if you go and try to do it and it don't work out, then you're gonna be like, yo. So it's creating a neural network. I hope this can do this while I'm recording. Yep, yeah. Look at that. All right. So now it's making your thing. If you need to stop the process, you can press the button. Otherwise, I suggest moving the mouse off it so you don't accidentally click it after you get like almost done and it be long. But it does ask if you want to cancel first, so it doesn't just stop. Okay. All right. So, all right, all right, all right. Let me grab my bass. Yeah, so it's definitely. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. learning a little bit with me, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. You know what I'm saying? Like, bringing this to the bass community. This is a great tool for the bass community. And at $170, you can't beat this at all. Um, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, man. This versus the Pod Express, this wins all day. There's nothing that Pod Express can do that's as impressive as this. This is a feature you normally would find on something that is thousands of dollars. At least $1,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. All right. So what we got on? We don't need these on. All right. Let's check this out. So first off, let's see. We going we can switch this off. And let's put this iPad up here. This iPad down here. So what you're looking at is just a picture of the screen. I took a few pictures so I had my presets because you can't see on the Tonex One. And I have it here on the desk. It's a little unit. Um, Let me see. Do I have a camera? No, I don't have another camera to go on it right now. Um, but we focusing on the software more so. We just going through a few tones here. So what I have loaded into the three preset slots is the first one you're gonna hear is the SGT on B15 voicing with the SGT circuit on, and that's running into that um, Bassman Neo 115. And of course, on you have the ability within the pedal, right? The reason I can't, I have it. I don't have it hooked up to the software right now for a reason. Um, I wanted to just be able to hear what the latency would be like without the extra hassle of the computer running through it and it's switching out tones. And I got too much running through the computer right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure this video gets done. So fire. I'm actually going to send this to the amp as well. Well, let's go through all my tones first. Let's go through these joints. So here's that was the SGT B15, and if you want to, you can turn off the cabinets of each of all the models by just holding down the Alt button for 6 seconds. Puts you in setup mode, and the bass knob will let you switch between dual mode, which you can click between. No passive mode there. In dual mode, you're just clicking between two different presets, and then stomp box mode, where you can click on and off and bypass, with the toggle. But you can make that switch between those two with the bass knob. The middle knob, the mids knob, allows you to turn globally off all the cabinets. You can turn off all the cabinets and not have to worry about it if you're running it as a preamp to your amp. And now you can just use all your amp models, the heads, or the stomp boxes without using the amp, the cabinets. So then you got your input trim there. So here's without the thing, without the cabinets. All right, so that's that. Let me see. Here is the actual SGT. SGT. And mind you, I modeled these together. So I have a separate model of these without the cabinet that I did of just the stomp box as well. That was the B15 on the SGT. Tonex. It's very close. Very close. And that's not to mention you can go in the computer, and if you needed to add some more EQ or whatever to it, or if you're gonna do it on here, you can just turn the knobs in normal mode. From the regular mode you're in. But if you wanna just press the Alt button, and you'll see them start blinking, and that'll give you access to the alternative parameters there. So the threshold for the gate, and then threshold for the compressor, then the mix for the reverb. So you can add or you can add some compression. Change the threshold on the noise gate. So, you can get. I like that. I like when it was real broken up. You can use that to help you make a synth sound with that joint. Dang, that joint's fire. I never even would have thought about that. I never even would have thought about it. But yeah, so you can turn the cabinets on and off. Oh, I just locked it. Dang it. If you hold down the Alt button for 3 seconds, it'll put it in safe mode. So if you turn in any of the knobs, it won't affect it. But the on and off still works, and that works great if you're going to put it under your pedal board or somewhere where you can't get to it, or somewhere it may get bumped. You don't want it to get bumped and change. So let's turn this cabinet back on. Cabinets back on. And turn this gate back down. All right. As you can see where we are with the percentage on the capture, we ain't forgot about it. It's still rolling. And this is the default setting again. There's a longer setting and then there's a shorter setting. So this is the one I use the most, of course. It's like that in between. You can do about 2 to 3 captures per hour at this rate. The other one, you can only do 1 per hour. When I have time, I'll test out the longer feature and let you guys know. Okay, so that was the B15, and here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're gonna turn it to I also like the browser mode on. I use the browser mode if I'm using this Tonex by itself as my amp head. I'm using browser mode. Okay, browser mode is amazing. So Alt and the toggle together, just press it and hold it. You ain't even gotta hold it. Just press it. The Alt and then the toggle switch, right? And that's gonna give you access to all 3 channels at once, all 3 presets at once. So now you got a 3-channel switcher right here, because you can just flip through and you can change the presets from here. So the one that's blinking is the channel that's selected to be changed. If it's in this browser mode, and you just turn the knob and you can switch presets. So. See? And that's just for one channel, and this is the bass knob I'm turning here. So this is one of the dual channels, the A channel of the dual channels I'm changing. And so the first joint you got, and mind you, if you press this toggle switch, you can switch between the 3 different the 3 presets you have pre-programmed for selection already. So once you find, on the blinking channel is the channel that you're able to play on. Once you find that, you find the sound you like, you can just use it from there. And if you want to change to another channel that you already have the preset ready, you just press it and it just circles through the 3 lights at the top, the bass, mids, treble knob, and each of those will represent the channel that is currently on. So that's the B15, right? And here is the Gensler preamp with the Fender Bassman Neo. Gensler Magellan. And you can change the volume of each preset with the big volume gain knob, and it'll store it with each preset. You can volume match whatever the 3 presets you select right there. If you want to adjust anything, because we're currently in browser mode, to get out of browser mode, you press Alt and the toggle switch at the same time again, and you're back to the EQ. So you can set your EQ however you want it. If you need some more highs, when you're hooked up to the software, you can actually dedicate these. You can tell that pedal what you want each of the frequencies to be. The bass only goes down to 75, but that's okay because most times your amp or whatever you model, that's why I said just make sure you got enough booty in there already. Then if you need to dial it back some, you can dial it back some. Or if you need to add just a little bit more, you can dial a little bit more. But you need it to be enough to feel like hefty, and then you can mix in your dry signal in the software as well. So have it so a good amount of your dry signal comes through, which is pretty cool as well. So checking back in on the software. Yeah, 40%. Look at that. Very low latency, and this is just the pedal by itself, so it's not like it's dragging you down. It feels realistic, right? You got plenty of booty on that thing. All right, so let's go back to browser mode, and let's go to the next preset, which is the Aguilar preamp into the Bassman Neo. Mixing that with your dry signal, or the dry signal from the preamp. Oh my god, that's terrible. That is amazing. Mind you, if you want more of the tweeter, like I only had that tweeter up 25% of where it could go from there, you know. If I want more tweeter, I could easily add way more tweeter. I can bring it up to 50%. I'm talking about on the actual cabinet. I could bring it up to 100% if I needed that much in there, or I could just move that condenser mic further on to the closer to the tweeter itself, or directly onto the tweeter itself and just turn it down. And and if I was to do that, I would move the kick drum mic to the center of the speaker and get more definition from there out of the actual kick mic. But here we go. Let's keep going. That was the Aguilar. Well, let's see what that sounds like with. Let me see. Taking out the browser mode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Puts us in setup mode, which will have the alternate light turn blue. And the easy way to spot if you're in setup mode and you're not playing is the treble knob will not be lit. You know what I'm saying? Until you play. Because it's the input trim to let you know when your input is too much or clipping. But let's see what that Aguilar sounds like by itself. That's the Gensler right there. So, you bring that. So, it does the preamp by itself too, which is crazy that it does all of that at once. It can do the stomp, the preamp, the amp head, and you can do multiple stomp boxes. You can do a whole bunch of a chain of stomp boxes if you need to. Say you needed an overdrive, a preamp, and then you run all of that into, your head, your amp head, and then you want to mic that cabinet, you could do that. And it'll still capture everything else. So it's kind of crazy. Now, let's keep going. So that's the Magellan. That's the Aguilar. And this is the SGT DI with none of the SGT circuit in the Fender Bassman Neo. But here's just the preamp first. and you got that on there as well. Um, Now let me see. One, two, three, four, five, six, and we're in setup mode now. Turn the cabinets back on. So, great sounding amp there. You know. So we skip ahead a little bit. It's this one. So this is actually the Ampeg BA210V2. Let me see, check on this. Still 65%. So here's the I modeled the I have a Ampeg, it's over there, so you can't see it, but it's a Ampeg BA210V2. So I love the BA amp heads, and I always wanted a model of it, of that exact head. So I can do that now. It's amazing. Just bringing me so much joy, and this joint sounds exactly like it. So um, I wanted to model them separately to see what it sounds like when I added them together. So I'm gonna do another video where I've modeled each individual piece of gear by itself. In order to model the cabinets by itself, I just run the output from the mixer to the amp head. I mean the power in or the return of whatever amp I'm using. That way, it's no coloring from the preamp. And then when I finish the capture, I just turn the preamp part of that sound of that preset or that capture or whatever off, and just keep the cabinet, because hopefully that was exactly what it went through, just the cabinet. Hopefully it's no coloring to it as much as possible, and just like a pure sound going directly to the cabinet. So when I add just the amp head that I modeled by itself, is like I'm taking just the cabinet and just the amp head together. So But yeah, that's amazing. Amazing. This is the very next sound is the SGT DI by itself without the SGT circuit. Matter of fact, let's do this. Oh, that's so close. Oh, that's so close. That is almost spot on. Which one? Which one is which? Here we go. Which one is which? You tell me which one is the SGT, the actual SGT DI, ampeg SGT DI that just came out, and which one is the Tonex pedal? Tell me. One more time. You still can't figure it out? You see me switching them. Which one is which? Mind you, I did this on default. I didn't do like the super accurate joint, just the default. Accurate would probably get it that little bit much closer. So, which one is it? Still don't have no clue. So, this is the SGTDI, the one over there. This one you see me, anytime you see me reaching over there in the sound, bam. So, but it's on now. Here's the SGT. All right? Tonex. SGT. Tonex. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That is crazy close. Um, let's keep going because that's bananas, yo. That's bananas. They sickening for that. Sickening. Here's the Aguilar preamp. 85%. That's bananas. You tell me. Well, you already know from the level. You got me. Yeah, you got me. Whatever. Yeah. So here's the Tonex. Here's the actual preamp. Tonex. Here's both of these, just so for a quick comparison. Here's both of these running into a matter of fact, I know what. Turn this up. So I'm gonna run both of these into an Aguilar IR real quick, and that way you can get a cooking. So here's the Tonex, and they not the one on the Tonex. This is the one on. This is just a stomp, just a capture of the stomp, the actual AG preamp I did, the lower pedal. So here we go. Here's the Tonex and the Aguilar AG 410 with a tweeter on the B6. Here's the um here's the AG preamp. Tonex. AG. Fire. That is fire. That is a fire. I mean, capture, yo. Like, we almost there, guys. 95%. Just a couple more minutes. Let's hurry up and squeeze in one more. Good time. Let's see. Here's just a few. I'm just gonna flip through some. And that's the dark glass. That's a dark glass micro tubes stomp. Somebody did. That's somebody else's right there. And here's the Harkey TX preamp on there. That's that actual head by itself. Right. This is a actual B15. Here's Mark bass. CL300, and here is an orange amp, orange AD200B, and these are some of the ones I downloaded. It's the orange one. And here's a Gallian Kruger. And here's just the Fender Bassman Neo by itself with my bass running. And I did this so I can use this as a cab model if I felt like, splitting my signal from and having two different IRs, one from my B6, one from the Tonex One, rather. And here's with the oh Shazam. Almost had a little accident. So I actually got to go on the software and do what I'm trying to do for that last one. For some reason, I thought I turned off that preamp part of it, but I will definitely do that another time for you guys, where you the best way to get the cabinet by, so since they don't have an option for it. But we should be about done here. Yep, and we're done. So now we have a tone capture, and you'll come back to this again. Then you come back, and now you get to try it out. Here's the fun part. Well, you try it out. You can listen to it back to back with the real. Well, I want you guys to be able to hear. How can I do this? How can I do this? Well, I can't do it. I can't do it for you guys right now. That would be the tricky part. So, because of how things are set up in the video and everything. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead finish it out, because I already know it sounds correct. But I'm going to actually play through the rig, and then I'm gonna play. Oh dang, I don't even have it hooked up right now either. Well, we have to hook it up, I guess. Damn. So we hook that up, and this will give me a chance to show you how easy it is to throw something on the rig. So you pick your skin for it. After you listen to it and do all that stuff, pick your skin for it. Let's put it under, I guess, none of them look like it. And let's name this one Harky and Fender. Just for now, you can go back and edit all this stuff as well. And that was a Harky. Come on, TX 600 clean. You can fill out all this optional stuff or not, but Fender. Configuration. Alright, so that's all the information you really need, and then bam, it'll show up. Go hit tone, hit tone model, and my tone models. It'll show up under there. Then, if you connect your actual Tonex pedal, you might get that type of sound sometimes. I mean, it's what it is it's a looping thing. I got to get an adapter for that. But I just want to throw this on here real quick, because I don't care about this mark bass on here. So let's put it in that slot. Overwrite. And let's go ahead and throw it in this slot real quick. Alright, so now it's on the pedal. Disconnect the pedal from the software if you want to, if you're getting that noise or whatever. So now I have it here on the stomp. Let's go. So, as you can see, I got it, bam. I got it right in there. It's no problem at all. And it's still here on the computer. If I want to try it out on the computer, I can as well. Let me bypass this real quick. Let me make sure. Let me do that again. Sorry, I was running double hours there. And you still got your EQ on there. You can give it more highs if you want them, more clarity. You can change the EQ in the software.
Because I had to get.
Oh, that's fire. That is fire. That's literally like it's equivalent to like having room mics when you add just that little bit of reverb in there, just a little touch of reverb. It gives you that like um the amp being in a room type of sound. Just a little smidge, just a little smidge. Little compression definitely helps out. You can choose whether you do that post or pre, in the software as well. Um, a matter of fact, because you right here. So, this is that actual set, that actual amp model here that we just did. This the one. So you could turn the amp off or on, leave the cabinet, turn the cabinet off, leave the amp. You got your noise gate there. You got your compressor. You can do that pre or post. You got your threshold, gain, attack. I wish they would add at least a release. Even if they're not gonna add a hold and release, just at least a release. Would be nice. On the cabinet side of the game, if they can manage it at some point, it'd be nice to be able to make a tone model and then use it in the VR stuff. That would be sweet. Oh, then you got your reverb, and the reverb, they actually give you quite a few parameters here, and they actually give you quite a few different reverbs here. So you got room, spring, plate, time, pre-delay, color, all that stuff on here. And then the advanced parameters gives you your gain. You can do this pre or post, but it gives you a gain. It gives you ability to change the frequency of each boost or cut, the bass, mids, and highs. And even on the mids, it gives you an option of the Q, which is how wide that frequency that you're boosting or cutting would be. Pretty much, the amount of frequencies is going to grab when you boost or cut it. Pretty much is what the Q equals. But the treble frequencies, down from 1,000 all the way up to 4,000. And for guitar and bass, that's all you need. And the presence is going to be your super high frequencies, probably around 10,000. Depth is going to be, if you need some more booty to your amp, the depth will definitely help add that, girth to it, add a little bit of heft to it. And then you can mix your dry signal and your wet signal. Your dry signal is just the dry bass going into whatever the sound you got going into it, and the amp sound. So basically, what we were talking about earlier, mixing the two sounds, your DI, which is your dry sound, and your amp mic'd up sound. So basically the sound of your cabinet, your amp head and your cabinet mic'd up, basically. So yeah, and then that's pretty much it. You know, and you get all this for $179, which is crazy. Which is crazy, and you can do that over and over again. Like, you can keep doing that. It won't take you an hour and a half to do a capture, unless, well, it could take you an hour to do if you do the highest one. But as you can see, the default one is fine. That's what, like 15-20 minutes of waiting on that. So, get that together and then bam. You know what I'm saying? Now I got my Harkey TX 600 head in my pedal. And I also have the cabinet, that Fender Bassman Neo 115 in there as well. And I can do that with, the TC Electronic BH500. I made that head as well. I thought I had it on there. Did I skip it? I thought I had it. It is on there. Let me see. Real quick before we get out of here. So that's the Harkey Dark Glass TC Electronic. This is that head, that BH500 head by itself. This may be the greatest pedal of all time. This may be the greatest pedal of all time. It just brings me so much joy. That is crazy. That you could just take an amp, that amp head. That's that black and red amp head right there, the big one. It's 30 pounds. And I can just put it in my Tonex now. And that's exactly how that head sounds. That's how that head sounds, period. Like the way I set it up, that's how it sounds direct. And I can take that and I can mix it with any of the other cabs or any of the other cabs I pull off a tone net. I can mix and match all types of stuff. So mainly the only things you can change the types of reverb, but it's only I think it was five of those, three spring, one room, and one plate, and then you can't change the compressor. It'd be nice if they let you get a two or three more compressors, like a FET compressor, a tube compressor. Those would be nice to have in there since they already got them in amplitude. Five. I already got amplitude 5, and you can use all these sounds in amplitude 5 too, which is crazy. A whole nother video I got to do. There's so many videos I got to do just on this because it's so extensive. Like it ain't me really drawing it out. Is this much stuff in this little teeny tiny pedal that fit in the palm of your hand. Like, look at the size of this joint. Look at the size of this. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Let's see if y'all can see this. Let me change this view real quick. This the size of this joint. This joint real small. Wow, you cover it with. That's how small it is. That's how small the little thing is. And you get to do all of this with this little teeny tiny pedal. You can model all your amps and take them everywhere with you. Have them everywhere with you all the time and it not be a problem at all. So, yeah, this has been another episode of All Bass Creations Effects Tutorials, Demos, and Review. I am the Bass Nagus, and let me know what else you guys want me to make a video about this pedal with. What else you need to know how to do, because I'm learning this pedal inside and out. I just got it, but it's so intuitive and just easy to use. It is no problem to learn this stuff. So it's just a matter of you have to have a good knowledge of how to do each individual step. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Hit that the super thanks and the Cash App. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it all. $1 or $2, and it definitely helped me out. I appreciate it. And what else you got? Oh, find me on all social media at the Bass Negus, Negus. And allbasscreations.bandcamp is where you can find all my music or on streaming platforms. So let me know what else y'all want to see me do with this pedal. I'm going to be doing some versus pedals against the Pod Express and against the B6, against the other pedals I have here, the AG, the Gensler. And we're just gonna see how amazing this lower pedal is. It's definitely kicking butt so far, and they definitely just killed everybody. Like they just killed everybody that's in that market. They're not even close now. Like for the price, they just took over. They're gonna be the biggest. This is gonna be the biggest thing since sliced bread. Like, and I can see why. I love it personally, and it's so flexible. But all right, guys, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. Subscribe, like, and share.